Uh, we had an email that was interesting that I wanted to read from Benjamin. It says, I'm no cross country history buff, but I'm wondering who the most dominant NCAA cross country runner in history is. Says he's a huge BYU fan. I'm wondering if Connor Mance could be in the discussion if he wins his next two races, regionals and nationals, below the results from his entire BYU cross country career. So he goes through, starting back in 18, obviously 19. He won 4 meets in 2019 and then got fourth at region, third at NCAA's 2020. He won everything except the Oklahoma State meet where he got second. And then this year he's 4-4-4. So he'd be 6 for 6 if he wins his final two races. Connor Mance has been great. He's a favorite to win this year. He could repeat, but he's not. He's not, because in NCAA cross country, all the weight goes to national championships, in my opinion, because as we've mentioned time and time again in the show, it's really oriented on one meet. So to figure out who the best cross country runner of all time is, you really can just count national championships. And there are 4 guys in front of him who have won 3 titles. There's a bunch of back-to-back people as well too, or 2 titles within their career. But Henry Rono, Jerry Lindgren, Pre, and Edward Cheserek all won 3 titles. So that's the starting point you have to get to be in the discussion. Now, amongst those 4, then you could have a spirited argument, but I think that's the minimum bar you have to hit to be considered in the discussion. And on the women's side, only one woman's done it, Sally Kipyego. So I'm confident in saying Sally Kipyego is the greatest NCAA women's cross country runner in history. Case closed. Done.
So Connor Mance is the favorite right now, so I think he might win, but he's not like a dominating favorite, because you know that like Kip 2 looks good. There's other guys out there that will the shot, but at the end of the day, Mance is beating them all, so you got to just give it to Mance. But if Mance does win too, he's only a junior. Now, I don't think he's going to come back, but if he wanted to come back,
Yeah.
let's just pretend in a world where he decides to be whatever 6th or 7th year COVID senior and comes back and does get 3, but he does it in 5 attempts. He would be a 5-time All-American with 3 titles.
Right.
That's going to be better than anything Ches or Rono or any of those guys have ever done, because they only were All-American 4 times.
That's not fair. But look, Ches had when he was not winning, Ches got 3rd. When Pre didn't win, he got 3rd. So even their non-title winning performance was still really good. Yeah, it would require him winning this year and then coming back again and doing something special. It's tough to break up this group, though. People who were more plugged into those previous eras. I mean, we obviously remember Ches very vividly because it was not too long ago. But Rono has that famous 28:07 cross country mark. Now, how much do you want to weight times in cross country? Also, the differing eras too. What Lindgren obviously competed against different caliber of athletes different types of athletes than Ches has. So you could factor that in as well too. But for me, it's just all about the national championships, because even when you look back at Connor Mance's career and you look at Ben's email here, it's like he got in 2019 you're looking, he got 4th at regionals, but like, did he really get 4th at regionals, or did he just cruise in? He just cruised in. He probably could have finished a lot higher. So I'm throwing all that stuff out. Track is just way easier because you have times to use for people, and you have more of an expectation that people are going all out. And then you look at what Rono did on the track. It's just insane. And obviously Pre had an incredible run there as well too on the track, and Lindgren and Ches. So that conversation though would be who is the best NCAA distance runner of all time, which would be an entirely different question in and of itself. But to me, you just count. You just count. And if someone wins 4, they're the best. That's it. And I guess the best opportunity to win 4 would have been right now because of the COVID year. If something happens in the future to where people get an extra year, then you have that opportunity, but you'd have to wait that against it as well too. But I mean, when you were watching Ches, were you thinking to yourself, not being aware or alive during those other guys, like, hey, this is the probably the best cross country runner in history? Was that your feeling?
Yeah, I think Cheswick is the best NCAA runner in history, regardless of event, regardless of field event, sprint event, distance, cross
Wow,
country.
interesting.
He's 18 titles. 18. Grant Holloway doesn't have 18. Grant Holloway was amazing. There's a lot of people out there. Galen Rupp doesn't have 18. Galen Rupp was amazing. You keep going. I could go on and on and on. Carl Lewis was good. He doesn't have 18. You know,
Here's the
Cheswick is
thing, though.
18. Cheswick is the GOAT of NCAA running, and it's not even close. There's no one who will
How many
ever.
Bowermans does he have, though?
That's
Here's the thing.
why the Bowerman
You die.
is a fraudulent award because the greatest of all time doesn't have one.
You go.
It would be
You
like
you die.
Tom Brady never winning an MVP award. It wouldn't make any sense. Or LeBron or Michael Jordan never winning MVP awards. No, they got to win at least one to legitimize that award. If they never gave LeBron James or Michael Jordan the MVP in the NBA, the person winning the MVP would be considered a mockery because like it's not a real award because you didn't give it to MJ or LeBron. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Bowerman, it's not a real award unless you give
I
the greatest of all time it. And they didn't do it.
Gordon.
They gave it to some
Gordon.
guy who broke uh, a made up
That was
record,
just that was
Jaren
just
Lawson.
bait, Gordon.
So
I look at, but like to when I was researching this stuff, I get reminded like Rono when he was in college broke 4 world records. That's tough to beat too. Dude ran 27:22, 13:08, 8:05 in the steeple. This was 1978. He ran 8:05 in the steeple, and then 7:32 in the 3K. That's pretty crazy too. It's tough. We should do a separate episode on that question about greatest NCAA athlete of all
breaking world
time. Maybe we
records in the
is, is
70s, 60s, 80s, whenever. I don't know when,
I just
50s,
told
40s. It doesn't count.
78. I just told you the time. He ran
78. The
8:05 in the
78s.
steeple. 8:05 in the steeple though. That's real.
Dude, come on.
13:08.
Do we even know if the
That's ridiculous.
barriers were the right height? There is it, we don't know that. It's happened in the 70s. We don't know what's going on.
Who
You know,
who can say? Wait, they didn't have rulers back then.
I think
So
Cheswick could probably run 8:05 in a steeple if he was asked to.
let's
He was running like 13 teens. He was a 350 miler. Come on, he could have run 8:05.
let's let's remember this for March because we always are looking for a bracket gimmick, and let's just do greatest. No, let's do it. Let's like do it for March, and we'll do greatest NCAA track and field. Do
It's
we include
Cheswick.
cross as well too?
You
Do
include
we do
whatever you
indoor,
want.
outdoor?
It's Cheswick. You know what? You can include freaking Ledecky in swimming, and it's still Cheswick. You include any NCAA sport, it's still Cheswick. He won 18 times. Won 8.
Because you don't want to do the
And
segment.
he won 18 times where he didn't even compete in one of the seasons. So he could have had like 20, but he got hurt. He could have got to 20.
You talking about his senior year?
Yeah.
He should have pulled a Mo Farah and refused to go out like that. Just kept coming back.
Yeah.
I want to wear the
Hold on to
Oregon
that
jersey again.
eligibility.
All right, so you don't want to
No,
do the
we can do
segment,
this.
so I'm
No,
scratching
I
out.
do want to
No,
do
segment's
segment. No, we
canceled.
can still do the segment. I'm just gonna tell you, like, the bracket is like it's rigged if he doesn't win.
I think. Well, here's the thing with Ches. He was there for a while, too.
Yeah,
It
that's a
because
fact.
there's other people who obviously could have racked up some numbers, but left after a year or two, and he stuck around, which works in his favor. I just don't know how
Yeah, you
fair is it to
think
include cross if you're comparing him to track athletes.
but indoor compare if someone does a sport that it's You can't do like a 200, like the 60-200. It's not the same as 1 and 2. It's all this
The
stuff.
problem
But
is you're gonna discount. You're gonna be like nothing before 1999 counts. That's the problem because you're
no,
gonna
I'm
say,
not going to
"How do we
say
know the
that. But I'm
barriers are
not
high
going
enough?"
to. But I'm not going to
Jesse
say
Owens.
like, oh no. But it's bullshit to like say like, oh, it broke the world record. Like it is not. Are we saying like a runner isn't going to be good in the NCAA unless they run like like 12 40 in a 5K? Like that's ridiculous. That's not happening.
Well,
We're not going to see a 19-year
in their
old
era,
who lives in Stillwater run a 12:40 5K at like the Drake dual
wow,
meet. That's not happening
Dave Smith's gonna be texting you soon. That was
because they don't
just a
have the lights. They
broadside
don't
on
have the lights
on
at the dual
Stillwater. You
meet.
just took maybe they do at OSU. They got some money over there. Just don't put limits on the program over there. Listen, in his era, he was the best of all time, and he's in college. I think that's worth considering. And the time holds up too. His time is still faster than what you Ches ran, right? In college.
Okay, here's a question. Imagine if every great young athlete like an Ingebrigtsen or a young Kenyan, Ethiopian, imagine if 70% of them all run in the NCAA. We would see more. We would see world records in the NCAA. But because that's the sport has gotten bigger over time, it's easier for elite athletes to not have to go to the NCAA. Therefore, you don't see as many world type level marks at the NCAA level because
Yeah,
you can get
but
great
a world record.
training in Europe. You can get great training in Nairobi, in
Sure,
Jamaica.
but okay, but like the record, but the record is the record. I don't understand. Like Rono still has the top 5 steeple marks in NCAA history.
Yeah.
Still,
Well, okay. First of all, we're talking about the
his
steeplechase. It's an event that like how
his
many
five
people
thousand.
were
One
running the
person
steeple
has
in
run.
1978?
Hold on.
Woman
One
couldn't even do
Lowy
it till like
Langs.
96.
One one person has run faster than the 5,000, and that was Lowy when he ran it indoors and beat him by a tenth. So Tier, Grijalva, all that. None of those guys. Rupp. No one could touch him in the 5. I'm just saying there's some people, and I'm sure there's other folks as well too who are just timeless. Like Jim Ryan just put up these marks that are ridiculous, and obviously they dominated their era that are worth considering. But hey, we'll do the thing. We'll have the bracket, and you can make your case.
Oh, I will. I will make my case.
Uh, there's nothing that you're more passionate about, I know, in the world than
Yeah, I don't even
than
think
this.
Ches knows how passionate I am about him not getting the Bowerman. I think I mentioned to it one time. And he laughed.
You probably scared him.
He probably agrees with me, but I do remember running into Robert Johnson, Oregon head coach, in an elevator, and he always has like this thought that I'm anti-Oregon. It's crazy. Every school thinks I'm anti their school because I don't know how it's possible, but like there was like a yeah. Anyway,
You should
they all
you
just
should
think
do a
like you don't
segment.
like us.
That's another idea for a segment. We'll go through every school and you'll explain where you went wrong according to them.
Yeah,
That'd be a
but
fun
like it's
game,
just
right?
crazy. Like every school thinks I don't like them, and like
Yeah.
I rank you second in the nation, and you're like, you guys hate us. I'm like, what? I'm saying you're better than 355 other schools. Anyway,
Yeah.
so